Welcome to our International Student Brief. Today, we're diving into some exciting and complex stories from around the world. First up, Ukraine has introduced new rules that let men aged 18 to 22 leave the country freely to study or work abroad, aiming to keep connections alive. But, with fears of losing a generation and worsening demographic decline, many wonder if this will really help or hurt Ukraine long term. Despite concerns, recent surveys show many young Ukrainians already plan to leave, so the impact might be limited. Next, we look at the US and Chinese students. While President Trump has expressed support for allowing 600,000 Chinese students into American universities, many US schools are cutting ties with Chinese institutions over security fears. This has created a tricky situation where Chinese students are caught in the middle of political tensions, with visa restrictions and declining numbers. It's a fascinating mix of diplomacy, security concerns, and the future of international education. Finally, China's recent military parade on September 3 was a powerful showcase of strength. Celebrating the 80th anniversary of WWII's end, the event displayed advanced military technology and sent diplomatic messages to the world, especially the US, Japan, and Taiwan. Leaders from around the globe attended, signaling China's rising influence and Xi Jinping's desire to shape a multipolar world. It's a bold move that combines military might with diplomatic strategy, reinforcing China's global ambitions. Please continue to tune in for more detailed stories. The Deutsche Welle article paints a vivid picture of Ukraine's recent policy shift aimed at reconnecting with its young male population amid ongoing conflict. Historically, men aged 18 to 60 faced strict travel bans due to military conscription fears, prompting many families to send their sons abroad before they turned 18. Now, with new regulations permitting men under 23 to travel freely, Ukraine hopes to foster international experience, education, and employment opportunities for its youth, thereby strengthening the country's future. However, experts warn that this policy might backfire, as many young Ukrainians, fearing conscription and uncertain about returning, may choose to leave permanently. Surveys reveal that a significant portion of young adults already desire to live abroad, and critics argue that the rule change could exacerbate the country's demographic and labor challenges, potentially accelerating the brain drain and weakening Ukraine's resilience in the face of war. The South China Morning Post shifts focus to China's strategic military parade commemorating the 80th anniversary of the end of the War of Resistance against Japan. This event is more than a ceremonial display, it serves as a potent diplomatic and military message from Xi Jinping's China amidst a complex global landscape. The parade showcases advanced weaponry, such as fourth-generation tanks, hypersonic missiles, and cyber warfare capabilities, aimed at projecting strength both domestically and internationally. It also functions as a diplomatic stage, gathering leaders from across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, positioning China as a leader of the global South and strengthening its regional influence. The attendance of Russian President Vladimir Putin underscores the deepening China-Russia alliance, with both leaders likely discussing post-war geopolitics in secret. Xi's speech will emphasize China's pivotal role in history, its current military might, and its ambitions to reshape the global order by challenging US dominance, all while reinforcing national pride and strategic autonomy. Foreign policy explores China's diplomatic messaging through its military parade amid strained international relations and economic difficulties. The event demonstrates Beijing's efforts to showcase its growing military prowess and to send signals of resilience and regional influence. The presence of foreign leaders, especially from Southeast Asia, underscores China's attempt to portray itself as a champion of the global South, contrasting with Western narratives of rivalry. Meanwhile, the parade also serves as a platform for Xi Jinping to reinforce China's historical narrative, emphasizing its decisive role in World War II and positioning itself as a responsible power seeking multipolarity. The strategic timing, coinciding with Xi's speech and Putin's attendance, aims to bolster China's international standing, foster closer Russia-China ties, and subtly challenge US and Western dominance, all while projecting an image of strength, unity, and historical legitimacy. The South China Morning Post reports a concerning development in US-China relations, highlighting President Trump's recent call for American banks to scrutinize Chinese nationals suspected of money laundering related to the fentanyl trade. This crackdown is part of a broader effort to combat Chinese networks working with Mexican drug cartels to flood the US with deadly fentanyl. Chinese individuals, including students, retirees, and housewives with unexplained wealth, are being scrutinized for possibly bypassing currency controls by turning to underground banks that convert their renminbi into US dollars. Meanwhile, FinCEN's analysis reveals a surge in suspicious activity reports linked to Chinese money laundering networks, extending beyond drug trafficking to human trafficking and other illicit schemes, with over $312 billion reported in suspicious transactions since 2020. Law enforcement uncovered a sophisticated partnership between the Sinaloa cartel and Chinese underground banking groups laundering millions from drug sales, illustrating the complex transnational criminal web fueling America's opioid crisis. The South China Morning Post also details the diplomatic tensions surrounding U.S. visa policies, with Beijing's top diplomat warning against sowing fear and hostility amid proposed U.S. visa reforms targeting Chinese students, scholars, and journalists. The Biden administration's plan to limit Chinese media stays and restrict the duration of visas for Chinese nationals aims to tighten security, citing concerns over potential espionage and political influence. Chinese officials, including Ambassador Xie Feng, emphasized the importance of fostering people-to-people exchanges and cooperation, warning that barriers could hinder mutual progress. This diplomatic pushback comes as the U.S. plans to admit up to 600,000 Chinese students, a figure Trump advocates for despite the decline in Chinese student enrollment, fewer than 300,000 during the 2023-24 academic year, with India now surpassing China as the leading source of international students in the U.S. The ongoing debate reflects the broader strategic rivalry, with critics on both sides questioning the balance between security and academic openness. The South China Morning Post reports a sharp backlash from Trump's base over his recent stance on Chinese students, revealing internal divisions within the Republican camp. While Trump has expressed support for allowing hundreds of thousands of Chinese students into U.S. universities, many supporters see this as a betrayal of his America First principles. Figures like Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and far-right activist Laura Loomer vocally oppose the move, arguing that Chinese students may be loyal to the Chinese Communist Party and pose a threat to national security. Critics highlight how previous administrations have sought to limit academic ties with China over fears of technological espionage and influence, with some calling for stricter controls on sensitive technology exports and visa revocations. The debate underscores the tension between economic interests, national security concerns, and the political calculus of Trump's supporters, as the administration navigates a delicate balancing act amid ongoing U.S.-China rivalry. Al Jazeera vividly portrays Israel's deliberate use of pleasure and culture as political tools, illustrating how the nation constructs a sanitized, glamorous image of itself abroad while simultaneously maintaining an oppressive and apartheid-like reality within its borders. The phenomenon of Tarmaliyut, a post-military rite of passage for young Israelis, serves as a symbolic escape from the harsh realities of occupation, yet it is deeply intertwined with state-sponsored propaganda. Israel's Brand Israel campaign, launched in 2006, exemplifies this strategy by transforming the country into a desirable, fun-filled destination, promoting Tel Aviv's gay pride parades, beaches, and celebrity-studded festivals, while obscuring the ongoing violence and systemic discrimination against Palestinians. This cultural rebranding, including provocative marketing campaigns like the Women of the Israeli Defense Forces, aims to sell Israel as a liberal, attractive society, effectively turning leisure and joy into political commodities. The narrative of Israeli joy, often showcased in Western media as carefree and liberal, masks the underlying apartheid system, where Palestinians are excluded and their suffering is dismissed as an inconvenience, creating a stark contrast between the nation's glamorous image and its brutal reality. The South China Morning Post highlights the technological and military advancements of China and the U.S., emphasizing their strategic investments amid global tensions. Trump's recent threats, such as imposing a 200% tariff on Chinese rare earth magnets, exemplify the ongoing economic rivalry, while his decision to double the number of Chinese students allowed into the U.S. reflects a complex interplay of competition and diplomacy. Meanwhile, China's breakthroughs in invisibility radar technology for early warning aircraft and the development of cyborg cockroaches for disaster relief demonstrate how technological innovation is shaping modern warfare and disaster management. China's commitment to sustainable energy, with its expansive electric vehicle infrastructure and energy storage capacity, underscores its ambition to lead in clean energy. Additionally, China's launch of the Jiangmen Underground Neutrino Observatory signifies its pursuit of scientific excellence, positioning itself as a global leader in cutting-edge research. These advancements reveal a multifaceted approach to maintaining geopolitical influence, blending military prowess, technological innovation, and scientific discovery to secure China's rising status on the world stage. The Independent reports on the surge in British outbound tourism, revealing that UK residents spent an average of £830 per trip abroad in 2024, an increase of 10% from the previous year, amounting to a total of £78.6 billion. Despite a slight decline in visits to traditional destinations like Spain, France, and Italy, the overall number of trips reached a record 94.6 million, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. Travelers are increasingly seeking unique, affordable experiences, with rising interest in destinations such as Croatia, Montenegro, and Morocco, and a growing trend in cruising to places like Norway and Iceland. This heightened outbound spending has caused Britain's tourism deficit to hit a record £46.1 billion, as the amount spent abroad far exceeds the money spent by international visitors in the UK. The report underscores how this imbalance, driven by Britain's desire for leisure and escape, poses economic challenges, especially as inbound tourism remains constrained by policies like the EU travel restrictions. Americans continue to be the primary visitors to the UK, but the overall trend highlights Britain's reliance on outbound tourism and the need to address the widening gap between outbound and inbound travel. South China Morning Post reports that U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a significant policy shift regarding Chinese students, stating that he would permit 600,000 Chinese nationals to study in America, doubling the current figure. This announcement comes amidst a backdrop of heightened tensions, with the Chinese embassy warning students about unreasonable inspections and harassment at U.S. borders, particularly in Houston. Despite the ongoing crackdowns on Chinese students' visas and increased scrutiny, Trump emphasized the importance of educational exchanges, reaffirming his intention to foster good relations with China and hinting at a forthcoming visit. His remarks contrast sharply with recent legislative efforts in the U.S. aimed at restricting Chinese influence, including bills that could block visas for Chinese nationals and bans on students from certain countries. Nevertheless, Trump's support for Chinese students remains clear, highlighting their vital role in U.S. academia and the economy, even as the broader political landscape grows more restrictive. The South China Morning Post also details Trump's stance on trade issues, notably his threat to impose a 200% tariff on Chinese rare earth magnets unless China guarantees the U.S. access to these critical materials. While expressing a desire to avoid escalating tariffs, Trump acknowledged the significant leverage the U.S. holds due to its control over certain key resources. His comments suggest a delicate balance, maintaining a trade war truce with China while leaving the door open for future tariffs that could severely impact bilateral relations. Trump's remarks reveal a strategic posture, leveraging economic power without fully resorting to punitive measures, all while emphasizing the importance of continued cooperation, especially in areas like AI chips and rare earth supplies. Despite recent efforts to de-escalate trade tensions, his words indicate that the threat of tariffs remains a potent bargaining chip in U.S.-China relations. Deutsche Welle explains the complex and often contentious issue surrounding the burial of African leaders abroad, a practice fraught with political and emotional implications. The deaths of prominent figures like Zambian ex-president Edgar Lungu abroad have sparked debates over repatriation and national sovereignty. Lungu's family refuses to have him buried in Lusaka due to long-standing political disputes with the current government, illustrating how burial choices reflect deeper conflicts. The article highlights that some leaders die as exiles, while others seek medical treatment abroad, complicating the logistics and politics of their final resting places. These cases underscore the broader tension between national identity, political allegiance, and the desire for dignified burials, revealing how the end-of-life arrangements for African leaders are often intertwined with ongoing political struggles and historical grievances. Lubbock and the South Plains are buzzing with excitement as they warmly welcome back college students from Texas Tech, LCU, SPC, and WBU, transforming the city into a vibrant hub of energy and anticipation. The streets are alive with the chatter of students reuniting with friends, exploring new opportunities, and settling into their campus routines. Local businesses are gearing up to serve the influx of youthful enthusiasm, with cafes, shops, and eateries bustling with activity. The community's spirit shines brightly as residents and students alike embrace this annual tradition, eager to foster a supportive environment for learning, growth, and new beginnings. This lively return not only signifies the start of a new academic year but also reinforces the deep-rooted connection between the city and its student population, promising an exciting season ahead filled with promise and progress. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
News breaks, buzz the ground, stories spit, walls come down. Voices merge in the sound, faces mix in the crowd. Broadcasters paint the scene, world events on our screen. Every link a different theme, words collide in the stream. 6 degrees connect the dots, background stories more than us. Hear the voices rise aloft, truth unveils in every spot. Cultures clash across the globe, spin the threads in a stroke. Every story wears a robe, truth and lies in their code. Journalistic real deep, secrets that they don't see. Every angle they will keep, in the news we take a lead. New perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of gray, every story finds its way. Perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of gray, every story finds its way.
Cultures, I go, what really or do not, what enough to be you, everything and ever, what enough and after, what enough and after, what enough and after, enough 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 enough